There we go. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Chamber of the Wraith. My name is Brian, and it is time for another round of combat tweaks. It's been a little while, but I'm going to be jumping back in. For those not in the know, Combat Tweaks is basically my series where I take a look at every Mortal Kombat 11 character and figure out how I would like to tweak them for a final ultimate update. Considering that custom variations are now legal, this can range from changing variation slots to changing frame data to adding new moves. Basically just about anything I can do to change a character, I would think about. Now, as I like to kind of be a little bit crazy with my changes, some of the changes might be a little bit too bonkers, and I highly encourage that you people, well, give me those bonkers changes a look at. For now, let's take a look at Mileena, who has one of the most interesting adjustments that I would have to make, as well as the fact that, one quick mention, that she does appear in the top 10 overall largest changes that I want to release sometime this weekend. But before we get too far into that, let's talk about Mileena's abilities and how I would change them. Right now, just slots-wise, everything works. Everything is one slot. Nothing really conflicts with each other outside of Rolling Thunder and Condom Dash, which are the same input anyway, so it makes sense that those would conflict. If I had to give her a new ability, I personally am of the mindset that she doesn't really need one. I think she has a very well over-encompassing ability slot, but I think what would be interesting, actually, there is one ability that we could quote-unquote change. But right now, there's a bit of a problem. It's locked behind an augment, which is unique. No other character has an ability hidden behind an augment. And yes, that is Square Wave, as in Kitana Square Wave, which I will give a demonstration to now. Because, well, you've probably not seen Mileena using Square Wave before. Because it's locked behind a Jinsei augment, which requires that you have at least one gear ranked up to Elder, and then you grind for said augment with a slight chance of appearing in the first place. So very briefly, we're going to have a quick single battle against the Collector, just so that I can show you this ability in action.
Mileena.
And what it looks like in the moveset. I'm even going to set up heals just so that I don't go too crazy. And away we go. So, Square Wave has the same input, the same frame data, and the same damage. But here's the kicker. It also has the same requirements for a crushing blow. This is just copy and pasted right from Kitana. You can even see it in the equipment menu. Does physical damage, travels for 12 frames, counter or punish from maximum range, or breaks armor. You can even amplify it.
Fight.
Check this out. Oh. See that? That is straight up Kitana's crushing blow right there. Yum. Wait a minute, do I have crushing blows for free? I do! Just so it's much easier to demonstrate, because I don't have fatal blow. But there it is. That's Mileena's crushing blow, all right. Or Kitana's crushing blow from Square Wave. And that's basically literally it. There really isn't much else to say here other than, in a weird way, Mileena is capable of having 4 slots. Weird, I know, but the fact that this is possible and a cute little gimmick for Mileena overshadows the fact that it isn't a move that is naturally available to use at any time. You know what I mean? I would absolutely love it if they had allowed Square Wave to be used outside of the Jinsei augments in some way, shape, or form. How? I have no idea. but I'm sure there's a way to make it work. Okay, that done, let's move into the training mode and take a look at overall abilities and how I feel like they should be altered in some way, shape, or form. Because right now, Mileena is in a bit of a funky position with some of her attacks. And we're going to highlight this character next because he'll be next. But Mileena is a bit of a feral, up-close monster, is the idea that they were going for with her. She has close-up game, she has really strong combos with really nice damage. However, the problem lies in her range more than most. And what I mean by that is that if I were to just go for, let's say, a basic punish, see, that's 22% meterless, and that's just off of a punish. You know what I mean? But of course, if we want to be optimal, I said if we want to be optimal, then we're getting almost 30%. Now, Nightwolf can actually get slightly less damage, and remember that Mileena is spending 1 bar for this. But she's getting almost 40% if she manages to catch the crushing blow, which is very, very good. And look at that, 30%, 1 bar in the corner. Which can also be done mid-screen. There are options here, basically, is what I'm saying for Mileena. She has things that she's capable of doing damage-wise that most characters would like to, that some characters would like to see, i.e. Nightwolf with his relatively modest damage. But the thing is that Mileena does not have the greatest range. I'm going to turn on frame data and make this norm. I said turn frame data on. We'll do it for both, actually. So she has an 8-frame punish. Why is this 8 frames when Sindel has a similar move that is 7 frames? And with Kitana, it kind of makes sense, but if we were to compare directly to Nightwolf, who has a 7 frame, obviously they look very close to the same because the difference is literally a 60th of a second. But Mileena's whole deal is being up close and speedy. She doesn't have anything faster than 8 frames outside of a poke, which I personally think should also be the speed of her standing 1. This would be the first change I'd make. Make this attack standing 1, because look at this. This 7 frame hits further than her 8 frame. So if it's gonna have shorter range than a 7 frame, at least make it 7 frames to make it even. This could stay 9 frames though, because it has pretty decent range. But the next change I want to see... Oops, forgot my alarm was on. The next change I kind of want to see relates to this string right here, Ride and Dirty. This should have a crushing blow. This should have a crushing blow for countering or punishing with just the throw. Also, interestingly, it doesn't seem to scale. Hold on a minute. Does that not scale? Hold on. Might have to do that in the corner to see, but I don't think that scales. Okay, it does. It's just the scaling is delayed. I thought for a second that didn't scale. I was like, hey, Mortal Kombat X scaling shenanigans are back. But not the case with Mileena. If this throw were to counter or punish and had a crushing blow, I think that would be kind of neat. But I don't think that is strictly necessary. I think what is necessary, though, is the range of lunging strike being less... Yeah, being basically less than this. Like, look at this. Sometimes it just straight up whiffs. Even at some of the closest of ranges, just because of a breathing hurt box or something. Lunging strike is infamous for having really short range. And personally, I could say that have her moving forward be bigger. So almost maybe even slightly bigger than forward one, which is, I believe, Deadly Palm. So Deadly Palm can strike from here. Then Lunging Strike should theoretically start be able to hit right from the start of the match. And I'm not just saying this just because, you know, it's got really short range. It would make this connection a lot easier, allowing for this Crushing Blow to be an easier land than just, you know, basically hoping for it to land. Because sometimes you do have to hope for it to land, and it won't land because of weird hitbox shenanigans. Another very strange thing indeed. Next, I think I personally could stand to see down 3 have maybe slightly faster recovery. Not much more, mind you, but just enough. Just a little bit more, just because of the nature of it being a down 3. Or maybe even just a different hit animation to make it seem worth it to stick your neck out like this. Because it's 12 frames. Next, I'm just looking through the moves just to see what I have in mind. Okay, so it can't extend off of the Crushing Blow, which makes sense. All right, now I know what I want. I know almost for certain what I would like to see. I would like to see new meter burn I would like to see, if we're going to go with the change, that Square Wave becomes available to Mileena as a part of her playtime strings. Which you know, are the following strings here. Where are they? Here we go. Which are Riding Dirty, Losing Control, and Half-Blood. If these could all be enhanced, like Half-Blood can be enhanced right now to leave them standing and leave Mileena at +20. But if Losing Control could be amplified for a launcher, and Riding Dirty could amplify for perhaps some kind of a stun, or amplified for even more damage, where she like jams her fingers into your eyes, then she amplifies to slam you into the ground by like flipping over and all that. That would probably be really cool to see, but I would only want to see that if it is part of the 2-slot version of playtime, which I'm not exactly advocating for. The only reason why I'm bringing this up as a possibility is if it allows Mileena access to Square Wave as well, and these meter burns. Because Square Wave, sure, you could potentially make an argument because Square Wave gives her a new Crushing Blow and all that, but other than that, it's just Square Wave. It's just a Kitana mimic, and it would make sense for her to have a move that steals from Kitana when Kitana stole 3 of them from Mileena. You know what I mean? Next, let's take a look at special moves really quick, and I think, looking at this, there should actually be an option to delay teledrop. Just because whether this is an ability or an alternate amplify or what have you, the ability to delay teleport would make her getting in a whole lot scarier, because most of the time when Mileena wants to get in, she either has to roll all the way with Rolling Thunder, which is risky in of itself because roll is very unsafe, or teleport, because teleport is also unsafe. Yes, she has actually really nice movement and all that, but with short range, the best way for her to get in is with her special moves. And with her special moves being unsafe ways to get in, this can cause problems for Mileena. So, giving it an option to spend maybe defensive meter in order to delay the teleport would be really nasty, in my personal opinion. And finally, at least for the time being, there is really only one other option I can... Well, there's 2 more options, actually. Excuse me. But the first one is an input change. I personally would quite like to see Vanish's input change. Because an up-down input is nice and all, sure, and it's because it's invisibility. Mortal Kombat 11 has never really had to deal with invisibility, which is a fairly strong tool in this game. However, inputting it raw is basically impossible, and you should never have a move that is impossible to input raw, in my personal opinion. And some of you might be saying, well, what about the 360s with Zangief? Well, at least with those, you can. There are input shortcuts. There are no input shortcuts with up-down, short of just jumping or doing it after a string. Hold on, let's see. Yeah, that doesn't really work. So I would like to see, personally, a way for up-down to be changed to maybe down-down or something. And that would be about it, really, for Vanish. But the final option I really want to see involves Condom Dash. Because this is just pathetic. Condom Dash has a major problem. Hold on. Okay, so I didn't know that she could amplify behind her. That's really cool. But here's the thing with Condom Dash, right? You're giving up your combo ability for a true low, which the low is 24 frames and the overhead off of this is 19, so it's theoretically fuzzyable. But here's the kicker. Amplify it twice, so first off, amplify it once, and you get 11%. That is alright damage for a single amplify attack. It's less than the throw. Compared to teleport drop, that's 125. Size, it's 127. It's a little bit less, but it's not an awful amplify because all of this is technically unscaled. So if I were to do, that's 21%. The gap is a little bit shorter, right? It'll begin to even up once you really get this going. But I could still stand to see if this became 120. If that became 120 damage instead of 130, I wouldn't be remiss. But the real change I want to see is to the double amplify. That's 2 bars for 15%. That's it. Raw, that's all you get. And remember, you're losing your best combo option for 26% when why is it on there? There we go. Look, for 1 bar I can almost match that damage with the size. I can basically match it with that. And if I go for teleport drop, the gap is a little bit shorter again, but is a little wider, but still, we're almost matching it for 1 bar. I'm of the opinion that the second amplify should have double the damage. So instead of what would it be 40 damage? About 60 damage, because it's 20, 10, 10, 20. Yeah, 20, 10, 10, 20. I would make that 40, 20, 20, 40, and yes, that would mean that it would be almost 20% damage, but that's still arguably not worth it for 2 bars raw. But at least it would give you an option for raw damage that isn't worth less. That isn't worth less than going for double size, or almost worth less than that. So that's the biggest change I would want to see to Condom Dash. And honestly, for the most part, that's about it for Mileena. There isn't really much else for me to say, mostly because I don't know the character particularly well, admittedly, but from an outsider's point of view, those perspectives kind of make sense in my head. I'd like to know what you guys think about this. Don't be afraid to like, comment, and subscribe and all that. And next time we'll take a look at the Matokan Warrior, Nightwolf.